That
That was
was
like a that was like a moment of silence
yeah.
for us.
To be fair, I did not think it would be that awkward. There was no sound.
Hi, everybody. That was the weirdest intro ever. We'll get sound to something like that. Cassie Marie and I, hi, Liz Gale. We're trying to like streamline this intro so we're not always trying to tell you about us and who we are. And
Meditation intro, somebody said. Yes.
I mean, quite frankly, that might have been the longest moment of silence I've
Really?
experienced all week. I mean, momming and, all this like different stuff. Basketball season is so noisy. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Anyway, hi everyone.
Yeah,
We have
hi.
some serious topics to talk about. So hilarious, funny intro.
We'll have to have some laughter breaks because you guys all saw the thumbnail for this video. Mike Rinder scandal brewing.
Yeah.
And Scientology protest drama. And we tricked you because we decided to flip it. We're going to talk about the protests first.
Yes. We're going to chat about just some of the criticism that I've seen about the Scientology protests and the First Amendment auditing and all of these people who are not former Scientologists that are protesting, and then you guys coming in and being a part of it. And Liz, you and I haven't really talked and debriefed since your time with the protests, so I'm sure I'll have some questions for you about it as well. But should we start with some of the criticism that we've heard about these protests?
We should, but first, let's say hi to a couple people really quick.
Okay.
Oh, there went my mouse. Okay. Did you guys hear that crash? Can we just say hi to a couple people? Because there's 127 people in here already, and I definitely see some familiars. So I just want to say hi to SPTV Fanny and Mike and Sin and Fake Idea and Titty Bird. My cat's name is Tits. Pearl Snappy. Liz Ferris is here. Oh, it's Tilty. Oh my God,
I was just gonna
verbally assaulted you. So sorry. My cat's name is Titters, and I was just dealing with her a minute ago. So I've got tits on
To be fair, Titty Bird would be a great YouTube username.
I know, right? I know. I totally didn't get everybody there. But I do want to acknowledge that there's a ton of people in here. So hi.
Yeah, guys.
Okay. Now let's talk the tea, Cassie Marie.
Okay.
What have you heard? What dish have you heard against my TikTok friendly movement? I'm pissed. Tell me.
Yes. So I think a lot of the discourse has come from Chris Shelton, but I have seen some other just cult scholars have some criticisms and some things to say. Oh my gosh, Titty Bird comments. I'm sorry, that really distracted me. They're so funny. Can we put them up?
You
Marilyn.
can't you?
Wait, look.
Wait. LOL. What is happening? Are you doing that?
Yes, I did that. That's the Titty Bird.
Pearl Snappy actually put tits. I thought we were reading the comment from Tilty. I love it. No. This is old school, like calculator stuff. When you what was that one where you'd be like this and this and this? What does that get? And you turn it around, and it's like boobless.
Yes, that was the most ADHD moment I have had on YouTube thus far. I am sorry, guys, to really take a left turn there. Those cracked me up, and I could not move on until I acknowledged that everyone had to see this.
I feel like I would have been exactly the same. You're in perfect company. Any more boob jokes? Any more?
Yeah, seriously, guys.
Oh man, we're laughing too much for such a tricky
I know
topic today, aren't we?
Yes.
Can I play a clip? Let's just go first, Chris Shelton. Let's just do this, okay?
Perfect.
I've never personally had that much of a problem with Chris Shelton. I've never gone to Chris Shelton and say, "Hey man, we're friends. I got an issue," and like had that discussion. But we have always had a professional relationship, as you do, author to author kind of situation. That said, you know, some people go through when they get a degree and they feel fancy pants. Some people can take on a persona of knowing more or
Mhm.
being more knowledgeable or something like that. And I do get that vibe, Chris. I get that vibe from you sometimes online and in your videos. Doesn't make you a bad person. I saw him hitting a train wreck with his responses to this.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, people in the chat came for him. People came for him because he's just like, I don't see any worth. I don't see any worth. Someone show me
Yeah.
the worth in this whole TikTok movement. I don't get it. I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 10 years. Okay, well, I did offer to have a debate with him. I realize now
Mhm.
perhaps debate wasn't the right word, maybe just a talk
Chat. Yeah.
uh, about this because I thought it'd be good content. And honestly, I really wanted to kind of do him a favor of like bringing him back to like
Mhm.
I don't know. I shouldn't say to where I'm at, but he was asking over and over, like, what does it mean?
Just,
What
like,
does this mean?
reel him in back into
Yeah.
understanding the other side a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But the current stance, let me see here, guys, if I can put this up here.
Okay.
Oh, of course. It's the one clip, guys. It's the one clip I didn't get on my computer.
Oh,
He
no.
will not speak about it anymore. He was like, I'm
That's
done.
insane.
Somebody put in his Q&A, hey, what about the TikTok? And he was like, I'm done. I talked about that on Friday.
Got it.
I would challenge you, Chris Shelton, since you didn't want to debate me publicly. I'm respectfully here communicating with you, to you, in front of all the people in the world. I respectfully would say, talk about it. It's fine that
Mhm.
you have an opinion about it, but keep talking about it. Because when you shut down the conversation, you have shut the door to learning.
Yep.
And from everything I've seen on your channel, that's not what you stand for. So we all have a chance to put our money where our mouth is. And Chris Shelton, I think for you to put your money where your mouth is right now is to open up that conversation again, because we all saw you try to email William Good after the fact.
Mhm.
You want in or what?
Yep.
Like, so that's my stance. What do you
I
think
love
about
it,
that?
Liz.
Sassy
That's the
pants.
sassy Liz of it all. I did wanna say, like, with someone like Chris Shelton, something that attracts people to cults in the first place, I think I was guilty of this, and I think a lot of us want us like, are looking for a sense of importance and a sense of meaning, and
Yep.
when you're part of a cult and you are indoctrinated into the belief system, you do develop this belief that you're better than other people, that you have a superiority, you know things that other people don't know,
Right.
and that other people should know and should learn. And I just think that's something that can transfer even after you leave your cult.
Yep.
It's one of the big things that attracts people to cult hopping. I cult hopped myself into a couple of different things. And so like I just wanted to say that that's kind of what I see in Chris Shelton. And again, not that it makes him a bad person. And that's a very common thing of
Mhm.
people that were in cults. I just think it's something that we all need to be aware of within ourselves, that we can have this tendency to think that we know better than other people for situations, even when we haven't done the necessary deep diving and research or experiencing that
Right.
other people have done. So what I'm seeing from Chris Shelton is just I feel like he has an assumption and he thinks things that may not necessarily be true because
Hey,
he
wait,
doesn't.
wait, wait. You know what assumptions do, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You all know they make an ass out of you and me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That
Exactly.
was my tits. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're so right. I mean, you're absolutely right. I'm just rooting you, cheering you on. Where are you? I'm here.
Yes. No, and I think that's a little bit of what's happening because I
Yeah.
wrote down I really should have made these screenshots that we could all look at. So you guys are just going to have to listen to me read this to you in my own words and my version. But one of the things that he did say that you pointed out is he thinks that this doesn't benefit anyone or anything at all. Like he just doesn't see the long-term benefit of
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, but you have other people that are trying to explain the benefits and it has been benefiting different things because the Scientology test center has been closed.
Oh, that's huge. Hello. Yeah. And like,
And
listen,
those
I don't
when
want to toot my own horn, but it was right after Aaron and I know Aaron's a big deal and I'm just sort of along for the ride. However,
you're a big
it
deal.
was cool. We walked by and they have not been open ever since.
Yeah, they
So yeah,
haven't.
if that's not a win, I don't know what is. Can I show you a video real quick of
Yes.
Okay. I love them all. All of them. By the way, if you guys do not follow Jessica Pomadessa, please do. Please go on Twitter and tag TikTok and tell them to stop censoring her and get her channel back, because she had over 1 million. Well, between her two channels, she had 1.5 million followers. And this is an income stream for her. This is like, let's get this. If you can help get that back for her, really appreciate it.
Yes.
But that's not what I came on here for. Okay, there's a guy. Chris without a Hellcat. Everybody knows who he is because he's amazing. He does interviews. Let me get this video file up. Here we go. Just watch this it's like 44 seconds long. Let's watch it. He is talking to a man who has come to the Celebrity Center for an free acting class, as they do.
Oh.
You're here for the acting course, right?
You hear that?
Yes, acting.
What if I told you, my friend, it's a scam?
Scam?
The acting course, where are you from, my friend?
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan. Yeah, so this right here, it's cult. Are you Muslim?
Yes, Muslim.
This place is very haram.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, I'm not Muslim, no.
You're not Muslim.
But
you know about haram?
Yeah, I'm protesting this place because they lure people in, foreigners. They try to sell you a free acting course.
Yeah, free acting.
In Los Angeles, nothing is free.
Nothing is free.
Nothing is free. It's too good to be true. Look at this place. You think they make money by giving away free acting course? Never. Look.
Okay, I'm going to get that off of here. Hold on. Where'd it go? Okay, that right there, you guys, that gave me chills when I saw it. I had okay, bear with me. I don't mean to hijack the conversation with that. Sorry, Cassie Marie. Did you see what I saw? Yeah. I saw a vulnerable man who came, at the very least, to this Hollywood free acting class because he is in the gorgeous city of Hollywood, California, Los Angeles, and he wants to do acting. I don't know. We can't make assumptions beyond that, but he's interested in acting.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris comes up to him. He probably saved his life, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
But he did it live, and he did it respectfully, and he did it as if he cares about that man. I believe that Chris without a Hellcat, I don't have a screenshot up. Please follow him. There's no other Chris without a Hellcat. Just freaking Google it. You'll find him. Okay. It's such a weird name. I need to ask him, like, where's your Hellcat? What's happening?
I've been wondering what that means.
Yeah. He is just, I don't know how to explain how this approach, there's nothing shiny and glossy about it. There's nothing fake or capitalistic about it. He's a young man who's standing outside saying, hey, and did you hear how he used, I don't know if it was a Muslim term. I don't know exactly what that language was. Everybody please educate me. But that is a sign of respect. I felt like he was respecting the man by using language he was familiar with. And like, I mean, you guys, for real, I'm not joking, dude. I have actual goosebumps.
Yeah.
What do you think? Tell me that's not powerful because there's one life saved. Sorry, is that not enough for you?
Yeah.
Is that one guy not enough lives for you to save? Okay, cool. How about we broadcast that to millions of people? Is that good enough?
Yeah. So that's what's wild to me, is to say that there's no benefit is crazy. What I think the issue is that it's a different approach and a different angle than I think I've seen in the cult community at large.
Yeah. Like
just in general for a long time. So something that I saw Chris Shelton say and Stephen Hassan, I'm going to read what Stephen Hassan said in that Rolling Stone article that someone did that you were actually quoted in about the Free Sebastian thing, which we are not going to talk about. But Stephen Hassan was quoted in it as well, kind of criticizing the protest movement.
Oh, you're talking about the Rolling Stone article? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Is that what I said?
No, it is. We don't have a mod, and I'm actually trying to keep, this is too many people for me to keep track in the chat. Yeah. So I'm really sorry, guys. I can't quite keep track of that. And I see familiar names and I want to interact, but I'm just like,
we'll take a pause and do comments in a minute because
that's a good idea. Pause. Yeah. Okay, you're talking about the Rolling Stone article that came out about the heartthrob, which you say we're not going to talk about, but you know I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay, let's keep going. Well, okay, so Stephen Hassan was quoted in it, and for those of you that don't know, Stephen Hassan is a scholar of cults. He
Yes.
was not raised. He joined the Moonies as a young adult. He was recruited in college, and he had to have an intervention to get out, but he has developed the BITE model, which stands for behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control, and the influence continuum. And he has a podcast, and he's done a lot of good work to help explain cults and undue influence specifically, like in legal terms, I feel like, to the general public and the ex-cult community.
Yeah. His BITE model helped me
same
a lot. We've even
yes,
spoken about it.
I appreciate the BITE model and the influence continuum. I've learned so much from him. But he said that the idea of citizens wanting to help someone in a cult is great. I'm worried on TikTok it's kind of clickbaity. And then he said, I'm worried about people using this poor person who is not asking to be an internet celebrity and invading his life. He refers to some of the tactics used by street protesters as disrespectful and counterproductive. And then Chris Shelton also said that he feels like it's clickbaity and a lot of people make money off of this, and those intentions should be considered. And I think what they're missing, and what a lot of us former cult members need to like take a step back and think about, is that the point of these protests is not to save people who are in Scientology. The point of this is not to get people to wake up and leave. A protest would absolutely not accomplish that goal. But that's not what they're trying to do. They are bringing awareness to how bad Scientology is, and they are trying to prevent Scientology from recruiting new people, which absolutely does play a role in Scientology ceasing to exist in general. It might be a small role. I know that Scientology has reserves of money, but preventing people from being recruited at one of their biggest recruiting centers is a huge deal and a huge benefit, and part of the conversation and part of doing something physical and like doing some kind of like physical activism that I do think contributes to taking down Scientology. And we cannot, as outsiders, as non-cult members, and people who are even non-ex-cult members, because most of these people videoing and protesting aren't even ex-cult members. They are never going to relate to people in Scientology in a way that's going to get them out. But that's not the point, and that doesn't have to be the point. Rescuing people who are in does not have to be everyone's priority all the time. And to me, it doesn't negate the powerful aspects of the protesting. What do you think?
Yeah. And I guess maybe I shouldn't have even brought up Chris without a Hellcat just yet, because it doesn't sound like they're talking about his approach. Everybody seems fine.
No.
They're talking more about the people who are out there yelling, it's a cult, it's una secta, don't go in there, they'll take all your money, they'll ruin your family, and also yelling at the people through the open door, saying things like, you're ruining your life, your brother misses you, your sister misses you. You know what, though?
I don't think that's disrespectful, though. That's what I think is like. I think it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on. And I think that I don't want to bring people's age into this, but I think
she's coming in hot with the ageism.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to
boomer. No.
cause fighting between the generations, but
there's a different understanding of media.
I think there's different understandings of media. I think there's different understandings, just Gen Z and millennials, but specifically Gen Z. Millennials are kind of scaredy cat. But like Gen Z, they're not afraid to be bold about things.
Right.
And I think Gen Xers, boomers take that as aggression and take that as being rude, and they're not being rude. And it's not aggressive. It's being bold, and it's being loud, and it's being confident, and it's taking up space and making your voice heard.
Oh, you're giving me goosebumps again. Look, I have a 17-year-old son who is going to graduate from high school this year, okay? And I meet his friends, and I know his crew. We live in a small town. These are good kids. These are smart kids. And I realize this is maybe the next generation. I don't know how old some of these
I think he's still
are.
Gen Z.
Yeah, he's kind of tucked in there, not too far off.
Yeah.
The idea and I don't want to put this on like any particular age, but the idea of looking down upon our youth is, for one, counterproductive, because who shaped those youth? Who built the world those youth are in? So if you don't like them, you don't like yourself. Sorry. I know that's really harsh. Not everybody's the same personalities, but like if you're just looking at the next generation, like we're all doomed. That sucks. That sucks.
Right.
I don't want anybody to feel that way. And so this generation, I think you're right. They're holding space. They are bold. And I think as we get into this whole next Mike Rinder drama, that even highlights this sort of different approach to media. Can I read you a comment that I got from like on my YouTube?
Yes, please.
I'll spare you guys the first part that was like really nice about me. Okay. This, can you guys read that? You can screenshot that. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
There it is. Boom. I'll be honest. This is just some random person. This is not, I did not pay them. They are not a friend or family member. Okay. I'll be honest. The goofing on the recruiters was how I found out about this movement. But after hearing testimony from you and Serge and Lara, I almost feel bad I was initially watching for entertainment. This is your lives and childhoods that you innocent kids were robbed of. FFS. I have an immeasurable amount of respect for you guys. Your strength and bravery is something I wish I had. It's so sickening, but also interesting to see the forms of manipulation they used. You're doing amazing work exposing them and just being your awesome self, sending all the love and positivity, and then they're being nice to me. I'll spare you guys that. That to me is what I don't even want to just say TikTok, what the social media protest movement stands for. So what is the value then of clickbait, right? Okay, clickbait.
Right.
Okay, what does that mean? What's the difference between clickbait and a worthy headline that one wants to understand?
Right.
It's all about what you get when you click it, what you get when you get in there. So
yeah, clickbait also, they used it incorrectly, because clickbait means that you're selling something else, but there's no substance, or the topic that you're actually talking about isn't what you advertised. It's like false advertising. There's no false advertising in this protesting. There is not. Like, I don't understand why you would even call it clickbaiting. And again, I literally think that it's just a complete misunderstanding. And I think that maybe Stephen Hassan and Chris Shelton don't realize the impact that it's having, like the real impact that, and the real awareness that is happening. Because I think that, like you said, people might be attracted to the shock value of it and people yelling at cult members. And I admit in the beginning, my biggest concern, and Chris Shelton said this too, is that it's dehumanizing to cult members. So like, I see cult members as victims. And if they do something wrong within the cult, I think they should be held accountable for that still as well. You can be a victim and an abuser. This is a nuanced conversation, but I don't see you have a cult self and an authentic self, and people make decisions within a cult that they wouldn't normally make outside of a cult. So I think that I don't want this movement to dehumanize cult members, but I don't think it does, because the second that these cult members, if they were to come out of the cult and need help, you know who would be helping them? The protesters.
The protesters. They'd hand them a sandwich. They would let them stay on their couch. Absolutely.
Right. Exactly.
You know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that it's a valid, like the fears are valid, but I just think that's fundamentally not what's occurring. Right? Like, they have these fears of like, this could happen. These are risks of something like this happening. And even Chris Shelton said, there's a risk for violence. There's a risk for escalation. There's a risk for us versus them. But everything carries risk. Everything carries risk. And the people who started this movement and the protesters actually do a really good job maintaining the crowd and not letting people come who are causing trouble and being rude and being disrespectful. They follow laws. They're not being nuts. And of course, there's a risk. But any movement of Scientology thus far, Leah Remini's Scientology in the aftermath, the Tampa Bay Times, like every single thing carries a huge risk. So like, Like,
no pain, no gain. Hard things take hard work. Like, are we just figuring this out, guys?
yeah.
It is one thing to sit safe at home behind a camera and
Mhm.
talk and even be vulnerable, but going to a protest is different. Putting yourself physically there. Something you said just made me want to jump out of my seat and tell you, I think there's something else happening. I don't condone dehumanizing anybody. There's a bunch of people in here that probably don't know me from anybody, but watch any of my crap ever. I'm not into that.
You are the
We're not
last
into
person.
bullying or anything like that. 2 factors though. These are recruiters standing out on Hollywood Boulevard trying to get people into Scientology. They
Exactly.
have become the public face. They are the ones doing the dirty work. And they're
Mhm.
right there in front of us. So I get it. You don't want to become a viral sensation. Don't do something so stupid. Like you freak out on a plane, you know you're going to go viral, right? You sell Scientology on the public street, you're going to go viral. This is part of
Mhm.
a public almost shaming. And again, I don't really like shame as a tool. Shame is, I am
But
bad.
now you're making the choice to become the problem. Like you can
Exactly.
be both things. You can be a
Yes.
victim and an abuser.
And a perpetrator. So at that
And
point,
yeah,
but listen, nobody gives a crap about that. I will
right.
tell you what people give a crap about. They give a crap about a young, good-looking person who has been tricked into joining a cult and is seemingly savable. And that's
Mhm.
the hook. That's the clickbait. So I guess in some ways
Right.
it is clickbait because that's not the real situation.
And
But
that's that's not the
once you get in, you
Mhm.
learn so much. So people can't, in my opinion, don't arrive to this conclusion without
Mhm.
investing a little bit of themselves on the ride of education. The other
Yeah.
thing I find fascinating that I would like to talk about more is how closed off the Scientologists that have been interviewed are. How they won't talk to you. Sometimes they won't look
Mhm.
at you. In Laura FM, I love you, girl. I'm glad you're here. Came and screamed in her face.
I saw that. That was so crazy.
I mean, this is a girl, this is a woman who is just doing her thing. Like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous behavior.
Mhm.
And highlighting that I think is also really important because there's a side of Scientology that they try to show. It's like, oh, you might become an actor. You might get some connections in Hollywood. You might, this or that. But on the other side of that, it's like, no, look how brainwashed these people are. Look how
Or
they
you might
won't.
end up screaming in some innocent person's face in a parking lot because you're absolutely
Yes,
in such a state of brainwash and undue
exactly.
influence.
Did you ever see the anti-methamphetamine advertising campaign where there's like the faces of meth? So I live in Oregon and meth is everywhere. I don't know if this is a thing that was Oregon or what, but they had the first mugshot when someone was arrested the first time for their methamphetamine use. And then they
Mhm.
would have their latest mugshot. And they picked people who, I mean, we're talking 10, 15 years. So the first mugshot, they have fairly clear skin. They're kind of like whatever. They look a little doped out. Then the last mugshot, they'll have, scars all over their faces and they don't have any teeth in their hair. And that was like, even if you want to be that way, some people are just vain. Like for me, I'm like, ew, I don't want to look like that. So I'm not going to try that. There's other
Right.
reasons not to do it, but it works.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that going on too, where you're seeing the way that Scientologists behave, especially that man, let's say, that verbally attacked. And then I think he actually swung at her, Laura.
Oh my God.
Well, he knocked her camera out. So I
Yeah.
don't know exactly how that went down. And I don't want to put words in her mouth. But from what I saw, it was a verbal and somewhat physical assault. It's like, ew, I don't want to be that guy. Right?
Yeah.
It's like a quality
such
thing
a
where
good
it's like
point.
before Scientology, after Scientology. And
That's
that's
such a
part
good
of
point.
what is happened with these recruiters, that why people are invested. They're finding TikTok videos of these people before they join Scientology. They're finding pictures of their parents, their mother, and they're saying, hey, your mom misses you. This is new territory. And
Yeah.
it's nothing that's ever been done before. And the people that say, oh, this won't work, this is nothing, it reminds me of like, oh yeah, you missed that. You were about to invest in Apple, weren't you? But you were like, no,
Yeah.
iPhone's not a thing. Like that, is that you? Is that like, is that what we're doing
Yeah.
here? So
Yeah.
anyway, I just went off.
No, I think that's such a good point and something I hadn't considered yet too. Like it definitely does. It's like this is what it looks like to be in a cult and be brainwashed. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, this is the last thing I wanted to address with Chris Shelton, is he also went on kind of a rant talking about how this could potentially jeopardize Leah Remini's lawsuit or other potential future lawsuits because the First Amendment auditors because that they're out there and there's a potential for violence, and because Scientology is arguing against Leah Remini that it's their First Amendment right to say these things about her or disparage her or like whatever, they're saying it's not slander and it's not disparagement, it's our First Amendment right to be able to say whatever we want to say about her, that flipping that and using your First Amendment right against Scientology, which the mental gymnastics to come to that conclusion is wild to me. But then also with like the potential for escalation and violence, he's afraid that it could look like people against Scientology are harassing and bullying Scientology and Scientologists, which could derail the lawsuit, which I think is insane because what we're seeing is what you just said. We are seeing live, first of all, the protesters are not harassing Scientologists. They are not doing things that are inappropriate, rude, like out of like the realm of legal ramifications or whatever. They're being like, you guys are being respectful. It's been good. We're getting these conversations.
Respectful and legal are two different things.
Yeah, true.
You actually don't have to be respectful
in
order to be a legal protester. And I wouldn't say that they're all being respectful. But
from what I've seen, though, I think that they have. But you're right; they don't have to be. It's not needed. It's not necessary. But yes, all legal. Which, when you're talking about the lawsuit, it's all legal. Nothing is going to jeopardize. Like, it's just crazy to me. I don't know what you think about that, but I think that was the wildest mental gymnastics rationalization for why something like this would be bad.
Yeah. Well, and okay, can we just put a pause on this? I have a starred comment here that I would like to bring up. I just want to find it. Here we go. All right. Gail Watkins, thank you so much for your comment, Gail. Please don't cut each other down. There is one goal: eliminate Scientology. This plays into Osa's hands. Liz, are you okay? We don't want you. Yes. One day, Gail, I'll make my book into audio, but I'm going to focus on the other part of your statement here. I realize that it appears like I'm shitting on Chris. I'm trying to be respectful. I'm actually trying to speak directly to him. Right now, he represents an idea that is actually bigger than him. And he doesn't have to take responsible for all of this conversation or anything. But do you guys remember the allegory of the cave? Who remembers this? Plato, back in the day. The idea is a bunch of people are chained up. They're in a cave. I have this in my book. I won't bother reading it too. I'll make it short. Okay. They're in a cave and they see shadows on the wall and they think these shadows are God. They live and die by these shadows. One guy breaks out, goes to out of that part of the cave into another thing. He sees they're not just gods. Some people are doing puppets. It's all fake. And he goes back into there. He says, hey guys, this is all bullshit. Let's go. And nobody believes him. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes, what do? Do you leave them behind? I have come to the conclusion that yes, I have to go, but I want you guys to come with me. And I see success at the end of certain things. I'm not saying that I know anything more. I do want Chris to succeed. I want all of us fighting Scientology to succeed. And for me, that means I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be tough and I'm going to be real. And that's all I can do. So fuck Osa, and I don't give a fuck what they want.
Yeah. And we're not saying, Chris, you suck. Don't ever speak again. Like,
no, I'm saying, Chris, you can do better. You can do better.
Yes. We're just saying this is what Chris has said publicly on a public platform. And we just vehemently disagree. And that's okay.
Totally. Like, that doesn't make him a shitty person or whatever. Like, I don't care about any of that. Yeah. But I'm telling you guys, don't poo-poo what the future is like. The kids are doing. It's not, even if they're doing it wrong, if they're doing it wrong, because we all do things wrong when we're kids too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So really quickly, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions and talk about the protests from the perspective of some of you second gens going. And I
Sure.
know Laura has been out there and Serge has been out there pretty consistently, educating people and participating in these protests. And something that happens when you're in a cult, especially like Scientology, like the self-help cults or the really spiritual cults, like fundamentalist Christian cults, you live and you are raised in your head all the time and thinking about what happens after you die, right?
Okay.
Like you have a goal. You're always trying to better yourself. You're always trying to fix your thoughts. You're always trying to see what's wrong with yourself and how to make that better. You're constantly policing things and you live so much in your head because you're thinking about what's going on in here and you're thinking about what happens after you die and you're thinking about how the world needs to be saved and how everyone needs to be saved and you're driven by this like mission and this message. And a lot of cult members really want to help people. And one path or avenue that I've seen cult members take when they leave and deconstruct is activism. And it's not always, a lot of us are active in educating people about cults and talking about healing from cults and things like that. But a lot of people become activists, like political activists or environmental activists. And I think that something like protesting is a level of activism that appeals to our need to have a larger mission and to feel like we're benefiting people, but it's also a physical thing that we can do that a lot of us didn't get the opportunity to do either growing up or as young adults, right? Like it was all learning and reading and going to courses and studying and blah blah blah, but this is something that I think that is really healing for former cult members to go to your abusers and to physically feel like you can confront them and take your power back. And I can only imagine how it must feel for you guys to be there watching or actively stopping people from joining by educating them as to like what is going to happen.
Right.
How did that feel for you? Like I can imagine for you, that's just just probably necessary. Feels probably necessary.
Yeah, for sure. Well, once I saw other people doing it, the FOMO that I experienced was like out of control. And needing to be there and needing to be a part of it, I wasn't surprised. I was very much surprised that I had that reaction. I started by just talking about it on TikTok, and then I kind of got roped into it. Like I started getting tagged and everything, and then I got in that Rolling Stone article, and I thought, if I'm going to be tied in Rolling Stone magazine, which side note, you guys, was a very come to full circle moment for me because Cassie Marie, I don't know if you remember when we had our other live about Hey SPTV or Scientology showing, my brother, they shut down a story about my brother after he passed away. Scientology, like whatever. You guys can go back and watch it. It was a snafu. So it was really full circle to me to get mentioned as being a ex-Scientology activist in that magazine. Okay, sorry. I just had to toot my own horn.
Yeah.
But I felt so involved, I guess is my point. I felt so tied into that movement suddenly that I thought I better go. And then there were all these logistical hurdles for me to get there. So I didn't really realize what I was doing, I swear, until we got out of the car right outside the test center. And I was just like, oh yeah, we're really here. And I did have some physical reactions. The worst thing you could say as a kid growing up in Scientology was the word cult. I would literally get in less trouble if I used the other C word, not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So that then being outside publicly yelling it was but that's the enemy, right? There was a part of me that when I got there was like, oh, the enemy. But there's this thing in Scientology that you have to do. I had to do constantly. It's this formula for lower conditions because I was constantly in doubt and constantly a liability because I would make choices where I was like, oh, do I want to go be a stoner on the beach? Yeah, kind of. And then I'd have to do a doubt formula. And at the end of that and the end of liability, you have to publicly say what your group is, right? So you'd be like, I'm publicly a Scientologist or I'm publicly a pot smoker, right? This is what I'm doing. I mean, I know it sounds insane, but like,
no, yeah,
right? Like this is my book, Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist Pothead. I just want to put my money where my mouth is here, right? Like,
yeah,
so there's something empowering about that. So my experience first, right? And Aaron was like the star of the show. I wanted to experience. I wanted to create content, but I wanted to experience. And guys, my computer's being a beezy, but I will be able to upload all of my footage of that day soon. It's wild. From my perspective of Aaron's whole debacle. Long story short, it took me a little bit to get into it. And there was no point that I yelled, "It's a cult." I don't think. I might try that next time. But there were a lot of feelings. And then we were only there for 25 minutes before there was like an actual physical assault occurring. And then I've never been around any LAPD, let alone, first 2 cars with 4 officers, then 4 cars with 8 officers. And the helicopter circling was very overwhelming for me and a sense of injustice. Does that answer your question? It was a lot.
yeah,
I felt an obligation because people financially helped me get there.
yeah.
Right? Thank you so much. Like, I'm just a mom. It is so helpful when people contribute. I know it sounds so silly, like 10 or 15 bucks. Like, you guys got me there. There's no way I would have been able to go to LA on short notice, especially. So I felt an obligation to create content, but I had to put my own boundary in to say, I have to have this experience first.
Yeah.
Right? This has to be an experience for me as a healer, not a healer of other people, but as healing myself.
Right.
And I also had real connections like that I wanted to make. And it is very weird to go up to somebody and be like, "Hi," because you're on, like live. You're just like, "Hi." First time meeting somebody, putting a camera in their face. That's not me.
Feels so weird. Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah. So
But there was a moment that you posted, and I think you've talked about it a little bit since then, where you sang karaoke. You sang "Boots Are Made for Walking."
I can't believe I did that.
To me, that looked like very much taking your power back.
That is my version. That's what yelling a cult looks like to me. I know that sounds so stupid. You guys, I probably told this and you guys are like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you, Liz?" Look, I don't fancy myself a big like singing person or anything, but I like to sing. I enjoy it. And I like having a big voice. Like I did theater as a kid. You can just, I've also encountered in meditation. I never realized how similar those words were, actually. Sound, sound healing. I've been to some sound baths. I've actually taken some online courses in sound frequencies and healing. Super interesting to me. So there's a lady there named Mindy, and she's attached to the movement now. But when she was singing, I had this really selfish thought, you guys. I did. I had a selfish thought, and I thought, you know what? If Mindy's allowed to sing here today, then I am allowed to sing here today. And she finished her song. And I said to Jenna, who was standing next to me, you guys didn't see a lot of her in my footage. She was like right by me so much of the time. And I'm so grateful. I just adore her. I said, "Do you think they'll let me sing?" And she said, "Yeah, of course." And she said, "Do you know what you would want to sing?" And I knew I'd want to sing "These Boots Were Made for Walking." Marilyn and I have joked about how that's both of our favorite. It's actually only like 2 minutes, very fast. It's also not a love song. Why would I sing a love song to Scientology? It's kind of sassy. And quite frankly, I could sing it if I was crying. The range is, it's a very good song. I encourage everybody. Let's do a sing along. And then I didn't even say it out loud. Cassie Marie, I didn't even say it out loud. And the intro to that song started. And I was like, "It's a moment," those moments. And I said, "Can I sing?" And she was like, "Yeah, whatever." I won't watch it. You guys can watch it. I don't want to watch it. I know what it felt like to be there, and that's all I needed.
It looked liberating. And I think that that's kind of my point, is that there are bigger things going on. There are First Amendment auditors coming at this kind of from the LAPD angle. Right. There are ex-cult members coming in and joining and being a part of it. And there's individual things happening for you guys there. And I feel like there's probably some benefits to the First Amendment auditors as well that are doing it from the LAPD perspective. I just don't have experience in that. And I'm honestly not really familiar with that movement, so I just can't speak to it. But I'm sure, like, on an individual level, like, that means something to them. And there's something happening there for them. And when we're in cults, we're so indoctrinated to put the group first and do things for the group and do things for the good of the world and saving people from after they die and all of these things. But those individual benefits are important too. And those like little
Yeah.
moments are amazing too. So to just say that like there's no benefit and this doesn't play a role in anything and this isn't going to help anything down the road also feels really dismissive of all of the small things happening along with like the big things.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I really hadn't considered that because, now that you put it in that perspective, I think part of why I am personally a little bit insulted, maybe offended. I don't know if those are the right words. When I hear people say, "Oh, it's nothing," is that I am seeing people I know and love experience relief, joy, healing, and if that's not enough for you, for somebody, like that's more than enough for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
That's
it
such a
doesn't have
good
to play
point.
it doesn't have to play into the bigger picture. It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have
Like,
to.
even if it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to.
Wow, that's
It
such
doesn't have to happen.
that's such a good I love that. I love that. And it kind of actually leads in, I would say, to sort of our next topic is like
Mhm.
protecting, like who do you like, standing up for others, standing up for the voiceless, standing up for victims. And there's this I don't know how to segue into this exactly, but
You wanna take a second and go through some of our starred comments before we go into the Mike
let's
Rinder of it
do
all?
that. You are
Okay.
super smart to say that. Yeah. Whew.
'Cause otherwise we're gonna have 1,000 comments
Okay.
that
All right.
we
You
can't
wanna
get
put
to.
are we doing the starred? Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the starred ones, and this one has to go up
I did
first.
not star nearly as many as I kind of wanted to, but that's okay.
Me too,
How about
but
you read them and I'll star a few while we're
okay, so we have Liz Ferris, doing another titty joke, and we can have these Liz, I'm glad you have titty jokes all day long. Keep them
yeah.
coming.
It's so much later than the original titty joke that
I
happened,
know.
but
That's probably a very
very
people
bizarre.
weren't here in the beginning, they're like,
That's right.
"What is happening? What
That's
is
right.
actually happening?" Okay, Crystal says, "I'm watching here for a while to show some love to the channel." Thank you, Crystal. Yes, guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already, please, to Liz, Gail, and No Culty Vibes. Look at that. I promote us, Liz. That was really
Good job. That was good. Smash that like button. God, I hate it.
yeah. Carl's, does it make me a biatch that I'm here for the drama? I'm sorry, but I don't get the love for Mike Rinder. Without Leah, he would be hated for what he's done for 50 odd years.
Oh, Carls, we're getting into that next. We're talking about
Yes.
that next.
That's coming. And no, you are not a biatch for being here for the drama. I am also always here for the drama. So I feel
I'm
you.
always a biatch, drama or not. So we good.
Do we all have burnt biscuits today?
Hey, actually, I think I started this. Yes,
Okay.
Meerkat, we all do. And it's not just about the protests. Like, so Cassie Marie and I, we have really busy schedules. We love doing lives together, but it's tricky. And so we had set up this one before, actually last week, I couldn't do it or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the
Life.
thing that happened with the Mike Rinder and the Down the Rabbit Hole happened. So we're kind of squishing them both together. But yes, everybody's biscuits are burnt today.
Yes. This is an intense
Mine
one.
are on flame.
Watch
Watch out.
I'm a unicorn. Chris is a compassionate activist. Chris without a Hellcat, I think they're talking to. Yes.
Hey, this is funny. I'm a unicorn. No, I'm too much of a bitch. Never mind. Never mind.
Liz. Okay. DJ says Hellcat is a popular car model. Got it. So Chris doesn't have a Hellcat. I still don't know why.
He doesn't have one. Let's get him one.
Someone explained to me in depth the meaning and metaphor behind Chris's.
That's only a question for him. I truly believe it.
Haram is everything forbidden, bad for Muslims. Oh, okay. That's really cool that he knew that and like could say that.
Yeah, and I the first one I saw that did it was like as una secta, and I just thought that's awesome. Like that's so important, right? I mean, so many people are Spanish speaking in California to begin with that it's just like, oh yeah, duh.
Have you seen that that's kind of become like a thing that people are just saying randomly that
secta?
are like, yeah, part of the
Yes.
movement?
It's kind of part of the
People just
movement.
keep
It's like it means
commenting it.
something, right?
Yeah.
It means
Yeah,
like
like I've
we're
been
loud,
saying it.
we're here, and we're gonna conquer the world with this.
I love it. I think
That's
that would be good merch if anybody wants to, any of
for
the
sure,
protesters or like the live streamers wanna do Asuna Secta stuff. I love
right?
that.
Someone's getting that tattoo. I can just feel it coming.
Yes. I'm a unicorn again. If you want to connect, meet people where they're at.
Which is I think so true. So I come from an early childhood education background, and in early child education, you're trying to get the children to ask the questions, right? Like you're not
Mhm.
just putting facts down their throat like gravity always works like this. No, you give them a ball, you give them a feather, you take them to the top of a roof or a slide and you drop it down. It's like you do have to meet people where they are and give them a way to engage and like participate and grow throughout the process. If you just
Yep.
shut it off, there's no more of that.
Mhm. Absolutely. Stephen Britton says, "Is there
Oh, I've seen this
something?"
before. Sorry, he's our
Oh.
mod. Everybody shout out to Stephen Britton. No, nothing was happening. We're just like freaking out because there's a bunch of people in here.
Yeah, we just didn't know.
But we're holding
We
it
don't know.
down. We're
Do you
holding
have you I feel like you've said this before. Do you have ADHD too, or you don't?
me.
Yeah. Did I make that
I
up?
you're making an assumption about me that is probably true, but I don't actually know. No, I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
I do. I just
I
play
must
one on
be making
YouTube.
that up then, because I definitely do, and when the chat goes crazy like that, I'm just like,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
What's
Yeah.
this
No, I'm
for?
so not offended to even think that I did. I just I've never been told that I do by a qualified professional.
Wow.
I re-
Self-diagnosis is diagnosis. So
yeah. 3 years ago you filmed the Portland org. Thank you so much for the super chat, Michael Malloy show. So grateful for that. I will put that in my gas tank to get back to Portland. And actually, side note here, Nora, oh no, Nora and I've had a lot of people say that they would come down. So I think we're picking a weekend. I'm hoping for not this weekend, but the following.
nice.
But we'll see. Anyway,
That'll be
thank you.
Okay, Pearl Snappy says, "I'm not there to get people out. I'm there to tell the stories of people like Liz and Serge and Laura and make them feel uncomfortable."
Look,
Yeah.
Liz squared. That's Liz Ferris and I.
Oh, Liz squared.
We're Liz squared now.
I love how I just breezed past that. Like I was just like, don't know what that is. I'm just not even gonna say it.
No, that's true. Pearl Snappy's been
Yeah.
outside the Austin org. Watched her with Marilyn this morning as much as I could fit in. I agree. Yeah, like you got to pick your poison. Though I have to say that I am also always thinking about how I can communicate to the people inside. I'm really torn about that, honestly.
Mhm.
Like if I'm gonna have a sign, who's it for?
Yeah.
And that's a me choice. That's not a movement choice.
Right.
Like everybody makes their own sign. You pick however many words fit on a sign. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to be
Yeah.
out there with like 15 signs for my 15 moods about it. I love you. You're in a cult. You deserve help. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
I need an
Just
electronic
different ones
billboard.
up every 30 minutes.
Just so
One's for
confusing.
you.
They're like,
This one's for you.
yeah. And then ask me again about my ADHD.
Not that Helen. I don't know why this one was starred. Did we start this by accident?
I
Or did
started
you?
it because people are talking about the flea factory already, and that's gonna
Oh my gosh! Someone
we
made.
agreed we were gonna go for a little while today. My hair keeps
Yeah.
flipping over to the side, and it's making me feel weird. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get to the flea factory. I sense a lot of merch coming on.
Yes. I don't know how far I am through these starred comments.
I put this one. I'll do a couple.
Okay.
Serge Delmar, literally Serge, and his literally amazing husband, literally Michael. Follow them. We've been told to shut the fuck up our whole lives. We had to. No First Amendment rights denied inside these hotels as quote kids. Actually, not quote kids, as kids. That's more what happened. Sorry.
Love Serge.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I think is really interesting about this movement is that historically all cult members don't know about their First Amendment rights, right? You have to get out and you need to learn about them. So we're actually learning from them. I've learned so much from Streets, William Good, and he's taught other people. It's empowering to know just little things like, hey, I can't block a walkway.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, to learn that little bit of information. Then you learn a little another, and then another, and another, and boom, now you're prepared.
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Yep.
So, oh crap! I had such a good clip I was gonna start us with.
Oh no. Are we
I wanna
taking a
play
break
it.
from the comments?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I
I
do.
was gonna say, do we want to just read the rest of the super chats really quickly?
I do.
Okay.
You do that. Okay. Will you read it for me while I
While
sip my
you-
coffee and try and get my shit together?
Yes, absolutely. So Brave Kestrel says you have to protest in the way that feels right for you, as long as it's not violent or destroying property. Absolutely. Don't tell me how to speak my truth, not you guys.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you how to speak. And a Brave Kestrel. That's a bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kestrel. Here's the thing, Brave Kestrel. You are so right, and I feel 100% what you're saying. But if I ever did cross that line and tell you how to speak your truth, I certainly hope you would be like, hey, Liz,
That was
don't
shitty.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay too, right? I mean, not that I would do that, but like, it's okay to say, whatever, I'm such an idiot. You know what I mean? Just keep going.
Do you want to read that one?
I didn't mean to pull this one up, but we might as well. In order for women to get the votes in the West, it took suffragettes and suffragists, one more peaceful and tried official paths. The other took more radical action. Sometimes you need both or a balance.
Absolutely.
I agree. I should probably say I don't condone violence. I don't condone hate or bigotry, but there is something that people seem to have forgotten about street justice. Like, I live in Oregon. It wasn't so long that we were the Wild West here. Okay. Like, I can go to the grocery store and people are packing. Yeah, there's like, we've gotten so soft in some capacities that it is hard to remember what a real fight is like.
Yeah.
Again, I don't condone the violence. I'm just trying to cover my ass here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel ya.
Yeah. Oh shoot, my bad. You're doing it.
You're fine. I was just gonna do the super chats. The rest of the super chats.
Okay.
Liska, without discomfort, there's no motivation to change. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And then William Peterson says streamers are kicking Church of Scientology's ass. It raises awareness and pulls the teeth from the paper tiger Osa. Lame people are just jealous because their boring, self-important ramblings don't get views. Yeah. I mean,
unlike our lame, boring, self-important
I know.
they get views. Ha ha ha. No.
Yes.
No, I feel that.
I feel that. Yeah. Appreciate that. Okay.
I mean, jealousy is a very core human emotion. Like, we do have to work hard to know what to do with those feelings. And it's not uncommon that we can recognize it in somebody else.
Yeah.
That happens. Okay.
Shall we move on to what everybody is here to?
Yeah, but first, let's close out. Of course, if I got the right video file, that is, because I don't always do the right thing. Yes. Can we close out this with a very poignant statement from a Jamie Mustard? Yes. Jamie Mustard is an author, is a professional, is somebody I actually very much look up to. He's a very private person, so I won't say anything more than that, other than I screenshotted this because the way he put this into perspective, I thought was worth it. And then we'll move on to the Mike Rinder Brewing scandal.
Exist. What is this movement? Well, what is TikTok? Shoot. What is YouTube? It's arts and entertainment. It is the future of social change. It is the only way.
You guys, I recorded it on 2 times speed because I'm so impatient.
You know what? I listened to everything on 2 times speed, so that sounded normal to me, and I literally would have never noticed.
Okay, well, he doesn't quite sound like this. He has a deeper voice. It's just on 2 times speed. Sorry, guys. Okay.
This movement doesn't exist. What is this movement? Well, what is TikTok? What is YouTube? It's arts and entertainment. It is the future of social change. It is the only way that we will see social change in the future. This is the new world. Yes. Okay. And so it just goes again, you said, hey, well, let's talk about what happened this weekend. What happened this weekend is the awareness of this through arts and entertainment, YouTube and TikTok. That's why we go there. We go there to be entertained, as you do at the end of your end of your show.
Are you not entertained?
Yes. And so the guy that figured out how to do that, that's getting other people to figure out how to do that and also hopefully make money.
Okay. I'll stop there. He goes on and on about Aaron for a little while. Oh, sorry.
I watched that. It was really good. And
it was really good.
I really loved that point he made. It's arts and entertainment. It's arts and media.
Yeah. And don't tell me how to make art. Don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
All right. on that note, now are you ready? Are you
Yeah.
ready to talk about this?
I am. Liz is going to educate me on some of this stuff because I'm a bit out of the loop. So Liz is gonna teach
I know
me some
too
things
much.
we're all gonna learn.
I know too much. I can't even say everything I know.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I can. First of all, there is a lot going on here, guys. Okay, first of all, I want to play another clip. I know I'm being so annoying with the clip today. It's short. It might be on 2-speed. If you're watching us on 2-speed, you're screwed. Okay. The reason that I want to bring this clip up, this was Marilyn. Marilyn, I don't know if you're still here. Oh, yeah, good idea, Steve Britton. I could have obviously played that back at half speed. Anyway, whatever, deal with it. Marilyn said something on her live this morning that I wanted to bring up as a precursor here, because you'll see. Let me hold on, guys. I'm not as good as this as many people are. I'm getting better. I couldn't pull up a video file like this before. Okay, here we go. It's very short.
Democracy going on, honestly. There really is, because I'll be honest. There's people that have been, blowing up my inbox and, saying, oh, keep things silent, keep things not public, be more discreet, keep things behind the lines in the family. I'm sorry, but, liars and abusers are not my family.
Love
Can
you,
we all
Mel.
just
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up as a precursor to how I'm going to approach this conversation. I don't want to speak for you, Cassie Marie, but I feel like we're usually on the same page. So please interrupt me and whatever.
I'll
if I'm
say,
not speaking for you.
I'll
Yeah.
be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. We're about to get into some topics that are really heavy and gross. We're about to talk about SA. We're about to talk about human trafficking, crimes against children. This is really messed up stuff. Now, I have had messed up stuff like this happen in my family before. And let me tell you how it was perpetuated. It was perpetuated by people saying, don't talk about this. Other people don't need to know about this. This is our business. And of course, to a certain degree, that's true. But we're all big boys and girls, and we've all decided to step into this realm of YouTube, this public realm of activism. And it's messy here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really just wanted to precursor everything that is about to go down by saying that to do a victim justice, you do not cover up their story.
Absolutely.
You do not diminish it, and you do not silence victims, in my humble opinion. That is my perception of what is right and wrong, and I stand by it on my own YouTube channel.
Yes.
So, that said,
I will also say really quickly that a lot of this stuff is happening publicly. This isn't really something to handle like behind the scenes because so much of it is public. And this has to do with survivors' stories being made public.
Mm-hmm.
And if their stories get to be made public and people get to benefit from that, then we get to talk about all of this publicly because it's important, and survivors' stories are important, and how survivors are treated is really, really important. So it's not something that needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about publicly. It really does.
I agree. And it's so nuanced too. It's not black and white, like you're bad, you're good. But we all have an opportunity to be better. Yeah. And sometimes that means that people have to give you feedback. I don't want to call Sterling out. Like, I don't want to be, but he did a video a little while ago that I was like, ooh, Sterling, this isn't good. Like, don't do this. And then, people in his community of chat on his channel, like, let him know. And I don't know what their relationship is like. Obviously, I think they were respectful and kind because they care about him because he's a great voice in our community, but you can do what you want with that. And he took that and he kind of evolved his message from that feedback. Yeah. So that's importance, right? That's one of the importances. Okay. I have a little slideshow here because I just do that. Let's talk about this. Okay, down the rabbit hole. is a channel. If you do not follow Down the Rabbit Hole News, you probably should. Rabbit is the girl. I think she has a real name, and I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think she's offended that she's called Rabbit. She does true crime. She does a lot of other stuff, but you might have seen Aaron from growing up on Scientology went on her channel for his big aftermath debacle or whatever. So you're probably familiar. Last night-ish, I was at a basketball game, so it was night. She posted a teaser, I guess I'd call, about how she's going to do a live with Miriam Francis coming up. And there was a letter sent in regards to that. We'll get to that. Okay. First, who is Miriam Francis? I'm proud to call Miriam Francis a friend. Miriam Francis is a second generation, I believe. I'm not going to get her whole story and all of her facts right. But I will tell you this. She was on the Leah Remini and Mike Rinder Scientology Aftermath show. And so was I. And she was on season 2, episode 1. And I was season 2, episode 3 or something. So the people who on season 2, they started real hot with second generation, people born in. The whole first kind of section was about that. This put us all into a very specifically bizarre niche situation where we had filmed and yet our shows had not aired, and we did not even know what would be edited and aired. And everybody went through that experience differently. I had a whole aspect of SA in my family that I did tell the producers about, but there was other things from my story that they preferred to go down. Now, I know there were other people, Miriam, for example, who shared more than the show aired. Now, I'm not going to find fault in that or whatever, though it is a very dangerous situation for anybody to tell their trauma and then like kind of not have it go how they wanted or thought. Okay. I'm not speaking for Miriam here specifically. I'm just saying that when you go on a reality docuseries, there's no formula for how it's going to turn out. Right. So everybody had their own levels of trauma, of upset, of catharticism, whatever, healing. Right. So this is when I first heard of Miriam and we had become friends. Now she's been working her booty off. Okay. This is from 2020. She is telling her story. You guys can read this. This is from The Sun. She lives in another country. And I believe this was an article from the country she's in. I believe it's Australia. You can read what it says here. This is part of her. This is part of her story. This is a part of her life. And she was treated very, very badly by the people who were supposed to protect her, from the inside of her family all the way to her group that was the church. All right. This is no secret. This is nothing new that Miriam is going to say when she comes public. Okay. Which, according to the Rabbit channel, she will be going on a live and talking about all this, which is why I want to talk about it today, because I want every single one of you 1,434 people to watch Miriam. The minute you see her face with that live button, you go there, please. Okay, I'm done with that. Miriam has this Lighthouse project. Okay, this is a podcast. You can see her picture there, Christy Gordon, as well as Victoria Locke. These are 3 badass women, and Mike Brown is also badass. Badass human
Also
beings.
Mike Brown.
Badass human beings.
Yeah.
They are activists. They have continued to be activists since that first show aired, and I knew them, probably activists before that. That's just when I learned about both Christy and Miriam. This is a podcast. They have 20 episodes. Their approach is different than mine. I'm on TikTok, 2-minute little, this is so crazy. These guys are diving deep. They are so smart. They are so professional. They are amazing.
Yeah, their podcast is really, really good.
So good. So good. She also has contributed to when the Danny Masterson trial was coming out, or not coming out, but when it was happening. And she wrote this whole thing, and I screenshotted this little bit here. You guys can read it. She brings up a very disgusting quote that I don't know if you guys know about in the book Dianetics, where L. Ron Hubbard wrote, quote, "The 7-year-old girl who shudders because a man kisses her is not computing." She is reacting to an engram since at 7, she should see nothing wrong in a kiss, not even a passionate one. There must have been an earlier experience, possibly prenatal, which made men or kissing very bad. I'll just let that sit with you guys. But the reason that I put this particular clip in here is like Miriam is facing this head on. She is not mincing words. She is not fucking around.
Yeah.
Okay. And I happen to be proud to know her. And I know, okay, this was another thing she said. We can go back to this one. Oh, nope, not yet, guys. Okay. I happen to know that Miriam has been fighting for a long time to get justice, legal justice criminal justice for what has been happened to her. And especially when you're talking about 2 countries, right? And you're talking about crimes as a child, like you need all the support you can get, right? And so who would you pick as your number 1 champions? Who would you say, oh, the people that can help me the most? Mike Rinder.
Okay. I was like, are you asking me?
I mean, would be, I guess I could, but would be at the top of that list, right?
Yeah.
Because not only is Mike positioned himself as a champion for victims of Scientology, but he's also on the board of a human trafficking, like nationwide nonprofit or whatever it's called. Do you know what it's called?
No.
Child Trafficking USA or something like this.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he's on the board of like a big deal, not just the Aftermath. The Aftermath's a big deal too, but you know what I mean. So from my understanding, Miriam was feeling in a position where she needed some extra support. Rabbit from Down the Rabbit Hole channel is a champion for whatever, she's proven to be an ally. And so she went to her for help. I might get this wrong and they can clarify this later. There were 16 questions sent to Mike Rinder. I believe, and according to Aaron earlier, they were Miriam's questions.
Right.
Sent to Mike Rinder personally. Now, I talked about this before. All of us were like, hey, Mike Rinder, what about that one thing that fucked me over? And he was like, I don't remember. This is the common thing. Fine, whatever. But Miriam was really trying to get some answers. And instead of responding to Miriam, the letter was sent.
Yeah.
It's really small for me. Maybe I can make my screen big. I'm not going to read the whole thing. They basically are like talking crap, saying that the answers, the questions themselves were designed to prove guilt, right? Like I think is what they were arguing.
Right.
And then of course ended with this. Benjamin Franklin and many others have noted, he that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with the fleas. Based on the structure of your questions and Mr. Franklin's wisdom, we respectfully decline your invitation for any further engagement.
Crazy.
I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to hear what I've just talked for nonstop for like a minute. Catch me up on what you know about this and what you're thinking about this thus far.
That's all I know. It's hard for me. I'm really looking forward to Miriam coming and speaking out. And I totally agree with you. I think we all need to really, really pay attention to what she has to say when she does, because it's going to provide, I think, a lot of much needed context and understanding as to what's going on. So someone from the outside not really understanding what's going on, that letter was crazy. That is the optics of that, even without us having the context. The viewers of every SPTV YouTube channels are not dumb. And we've been through this recently with Aaron and the Aftermath and all of that situation and the split from Mike and Aaron. And to write a letter like that and to say something so insulting. And then in the letter, it also said, please share this and any content you make out of it, which sounded to me like taunting or threatening a little bit, like egging it on, which is disgusting. And I'm asking myself, one, from what Rabbit said, they sent questions to Mike Rinder. So who is this person replying for, Mike Rinder? Why did they reply in such a weird way? Why did they taunt her to make it public? And do they not have a clue about PR, social media literacy, and optics, and how
I'd like to quote, quoting Serge Delmar. Do they not have a literal shred of a clue?
Yeah, literally, Serge.
Yeah.
Like, what? What the heck is my thought? My other thought about all of this is a larger problem in the cult community, not just the ex-Scientology community. This has been happening since cults have become kind of a pop culture phenomenon, and that is genuinely what we're seeing. Is the topic of cults and coercive control. People are really curious about it, and I think there are a lot of reasons for that we won't go into because this is already so long. But I think it is a pop culture phenomenon. There are a lot of cult podcasts. There's all of SPTV. There are so many documentaries. Cult documentaries do so freaking well. And there is always this question of how do you ethically share survivors' stories? And I think part of doing that is acting behind the scenes the same way you act on the screen. If you are using survivor stories for content, for documentaries, for your own personal brand, if you are claiming to bring awareness, if you are claiming to be an advocate and an activist in this realm of cult experience, we are talking about very sensitive things, real things that have happened to real people, not influencers, not celebrities. Some of them are celebrities, but celebrities are also real people. These are real people. These are not just stories and faces on the screen and fake shit. This is real people with real trauma. Mm-hmm. And if you are not trauma informed, and if you are not acting behind the scenes the same way you are acting in front of everyone else, you are not survivor centric and you are not handling this with care. So what is that unethical? Is it unethical to be benefiting off of horrible traumas and not doing everything in your power behind the scenes to support the people who are giving you views and content and numbers and awareness, whether it's for money, whether it's for activism? Like, it doesn't really matter to me how much money people are making off of this. That comes into play with a lot of these podcasts and channels and documentaries. But even if it's just for your message, like even if you are just getting the views because you are passionate about the message you're trying to convey, how are you treating the people with the stories that are getting you that awareness? Because it better be the same or better outside of what the world is seeing. Or you're going to have a problem and you're going to have to answer for it.
Yeah. And that's exactly. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just so excited.
Go ahead. I'm done. My rant is there.
No, you're fine. You're great. You're good. I love everything that you said. Because quite literally, I know we love that word, but the actual literal meaning, Miriam was on his show, right? Mm-hmm. So you can very much make that connection that Miriam in particular, I know you're talking about a larger ethics thing, but if we just kind of microscope down into it,
let's bring it back. Yeah.
We are talking about somebody who did monetarily benefit from her story.
And from a brand perspective, benefited from her.
Yes. Which then was used that whole show was used as leverage later. And one could argue, okay, fine, there's enough sadly, there's enough stories about SA and cover-ups in Scientology that sure they could have found another story. But you tell me, go back and watch her episode. You guys will probably have to buy it. Maybe or go to Russian YouTube. I don't know if you ever do that, but
use a VPN.
Anyway, it's devastating. What happened to her is devastating.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just like, where is that ethical line? Like, if you're going to ask someone to tell your story, how long do you have to take care of them? What do you have to do? It's very tricky, but you would hope that somebody who is the on a board directly for someone like Miriam, and Miriam's story could potentially be used to gain funds for that foundation that everybody would assume would go to victims like Miriam.
Right.
Yeah, so as an individual, what are Mike Rinder's obligations? I don't know that he has an obligation necessarily to go above and beyond, though I think that if a person had stand-up character, that's what they would do.
Right.
But excuse me. The name calling. The name calling is what I have seen as the common thread, right?
Yes.
When we look back at the first problems that he had was from this keyboard warrior name.
Yeah.
And then now we have this, and granted, this isn't from him. This is from his
Right.
lawyer. But this is some mean girl shit.
It is.
Like, this is Regina. What is her name? Regina
George.
George. Yeah, not Regina Spektor. That's a musician. This is Regina George shit.
Yeah.
This is a blonde girl with a rich daddy standing in the middle of the hallway saying that you can't walk where I walk.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
see here. And what causes a person to behave that way typically? Now, look, I am going to go out on a limb here. Something is shady.
Mm-hmm.
This is not
a red flag.
normal
It's
behavior.
a huge red flag.
This is a red flag. It is a red flag to me that there is name calling happening to
Mhm.
victims.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know we don't want to think of Aaron also as like a victim, but at the very least, he should be treated with care
Yeah.
as an ex-Scientologist and a human being who also
Mhm.
suffered loss, right? He might go on and have a particular persona, but I believe that he was also called some names. You'll have to ask him, I guess, what his private meetings, but I don't think he left those meetings feeling respected. I'll tell you that.
Right.
And so it becomes bizarre to me. Very, 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 very bizarre. This is not typical behavior.
No, it's not. It's really not.
It's not. And so to me, just my own opinion is that there are secrets. People don't act like this if they have nothing to hide. I don't know what's being hidden. I don't know. I'm not saying that I know. I'm not even
Right.
coming with receipts, you guys. But
Right.
my
And I'm
instinct,
sure. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my instinct is that something they're scared. He's scared. I don't know who the hell is daring to message Marilyn and tell her to shut up.
Yeah. That's
I don't know who you
crazy.
are. Don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Okay.
Me and Liz say, don't you ever.
Yeah. As Marilyn will tell us, never shut up. Never shut up.
Yes.
And Miriam, never shut up. Because
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Why this response? Why the keyboard warrior? Why really? He that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with fleas? Are you for real?
Yeah.
And this is supposedly from a lawyer.
Yeah.
The optics on this.
Yeah. I really can't believe.
I can't even help but laugh at this point. Really. Do you know the video that like went viral on Vine or something a million years ago where the little girl, maybe it's a boy, is like eating a candy. They have like chocolate all over their face and their parents say, "Did you eat the chocolate bar?" And they're like, "No, I didn't eat the chocolate bar. Chocolate all over them."
Yes.
Or like a little kid that's lying. And
Yeah.
you're just like, you really think we don't know? Like, look at how you're acting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be wrong. I want us to be all one big happy family.
Yeah.
I do.
I was gonna say it makes me really sad to wonder about this and wonder what must be going on behind the scenes, because like I really thought like Mike, from his episodes on the show and the things that he's done and what he seems to stand for and like the content he's made, he seemed like someone who like was rehabilitated, right? Who did some really bad things when he was his cult self and really wanted to make up for those as his true self.
Mhm.
And I found it a really inspiring story of someone leaving and trying to make things right. That's what I got from Mike Rinder's story and
Right.
all of the different media that I've consumed of his. Mike and Leah really like the things, the work that they have done has made a huge difference in my life and things that I've learned. And they are both like really important figures to me.
Yep.
And so to think that like he maybe hasn't really like made this big 180 rehabilitation thing that we thought is heartbreaking to me.
It is.
Like, I find it really heartbreaking. And we don't know what's going on yet. We don't know, you know, what Miriam is going to talk about.
No.
But even the implication of it and the way he's acting is what is just sad. Like, it's so sad. And I know he's going through a lot of health stuff right now, too.
Yep.
Which is also sad and heartbreaking.
Yes.
And like me, as much as anyone else, like I want this man to have a great legacy.
Yep.
Like I want him to like be the person that we all think he is. I want nothing more than that. But he's not. In some recent months, the things that he has said and that people have said on his behalf is concerning.
It is concerning. It is concerning. And I know that I seem like a big bitch, maybe not to you, but like if Mike was watching this, like, oh my God, what a bitch. No, it's like you got chocolate on your face, man.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like if you pretend it's not there, like it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. And, you know, I think Aaron mentioned earlier, like, I keep saying like, get Miriam on your show, open this up, make the world understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't look right. And to underestimate your viewership and your pull or whatever is foolish. Which is sad because I truly do. This is the same thing for Chris Shelton. I know we're picking on you today, Chris. I'm sorry for that. It's never too late. And you don't have to do what I'm going to do. You don't have to do what I say, like anything like that. It's just that we're all kind of seeing a similar thing. And we all would prefer to see something else. And the only person who can change it is the person who's speaking or writing or sending disgusting letters. Now, who's the flea and who's the dog? Tell me. Do you know? Is Aaron the dog? Because somehow I feel like this all ties back to Aaron. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, what does this even mean? Like, what does this ending the letter with this quote?
Yeah, or
mean?
They sent this to Rabbit, right? So are they saying Rabbit that Miriam is the dog?
Right. That's crazy.
Are they? Because look, this is not well written. This is left. This is Mean Girls. This is, oh, I really love your sweater. And then you walk away, you're like, what the fuck did that mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean? So it's not clear for one. And so that's a problem, right? If you want to control a narrative, you should probably have a clear message. Just to start. Number two, when you call your community derogatory names, they don't like it.
Yeah.
And when you start fucking with my friend Miriam, who already went through enough.
Yeah.
You have done the stupidest thing. And that's a choice that you made. This is chocolate on your face right now. You can take a bath, you can try to figure it out, or you can just pretend it's not there. I think that as a community at large, we would all like to believe in the dream of Mike Rinder, of Leah Remini, of one big happy family. That's fine. But we can't keep these secrets anymore, guys.
Yeah.
The community has evolved enough so that you think we're being harsh now. Maybe you think that if you tell your true self that we'll be harsher on you. If you cry, if you feel bad, if you are vulnerable with us, that we will come for you. I don't think that's the case. I think we're all asking for an authentic experience from some of these people that we haven't felt like we've gotten it. And we're kind of waiting, wanting that from them so that we can still call them a friend. We can still call them part of this community. We can still believe in their dream and their foundation. But at this point, the trail, it's going off the rails.
Yeah. I want to bring this comment up. I just started, but I think we could talk about it right now.
Yeah, we can do that.
Since this was officially from the Aftermath Foundation, which I didn't even think about this, but they said I am a representative for the Aftermath Foundation, is what it said. All of them would have had to sign off on it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So that makes it even freaking weirder, right?
Yeah.
Like, is this all of them being like, yeah, this is our response to whatever? We don't even know what the questions were yet. So like, once we get that, I'm sure it'll shed a lot more light onto this. Just what a weird thing for like all of them collectively to be like, yep, check, looks great.
Yeah. And according to Aaron, they had also, again, I don't know this other than what I saw in his live, but he said that they did or he mentioned it in a comment, that they did hire outside counsel for their PR.
I saw someone say that they hired PR, which is funny because that's something you and I said that they should do, is hire a PR.
I know. But
I can promise you, no PR team signed off on that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I do not understand what's going on. There's no fucking way any PR person worth anything would say, check, send that off.
Right. Yeah. Well, and imagine you went to imagine this was the Boy Scouts, right? And you had a child that was harmed. I don't mean to throw the Boy Scouts under the bus here. It's just, this is my analogy. Yeah. And it necessarily, maybe you weren't harmed. Your Boy Scout leader didn't necessarily harm your child directly, but you go to your Boy Scout leader and you're like, hey, I really need some help. I need whatever to take this to court or whatever. And they're like, let me respond with my lawyer and be like, hey, if you lie down with dogs, you'll get fleas.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what did you say? My first thought in a situation that's not talking about Mike Rinder in specific, but just looking at that as the Boy Scout analogy, I'd be like, you're not safe. You are not a safe person anymore. When you say something like that, you have flipped a switch and you are no longer a safe person for human trafficking victims. So why are you sitting on the board now? Oh, now I'm talking about Mike Rinder. That happened quickly. Look, I don't want to harp on Mike all day. I don't want to we don't even know the whole story. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw Mike under the bus.
These are our initial thoughts based on this limited information that we have. And as more information comes available, we may change our opinions. But from what we know right now, these are our opinions that this looks so fucked up.
It does look it looks really fucked up. We're so smart. This is the best we come up with. It's fucked up, guys. We don't know why. But this is a red flag of behavior. I'm going to pull it up one more time and I'm just going to soapbox for about 10 seconds here.
Go for it.
Do not call my friends dogs or fleas.
Yeah.
Do not call victims of SA who are trying to get justice dogs or fleas. What you have done here is you have now made enemies. You better fix this. Fix this. The window for fixing this is so freaking small. That's all I have to say. I don't even know how they would fix it.
Perfect. I think anything can be fixed at any point if people are ready to take accountability for their actions.
That's so true. I mean, Mike, God.
I really do.
I agree. Okay, let's take some comments here and see what everybody else, see what a bitch they think I am. I did see a comment that was like, get to the point, but you paid me $5 to say it. So I guess I can't be that mad.
We did get to the point. There were lots of points.
Let's see if I can find it. She was like, you're talking too much.
Oh, babe, you are on the wrong live stream.
I
don't even know
what happened to it. Where did they?
I don't know.
What
Maybe
happened.
they took it back. Oh, here it is.
What's happening? Yeah, you're not making any sense. Just
The
get to the
thing
point right
is,
away.
Bill, is this doesn't make sense. Like, it's not us not making any sense. This literally doesn't make sense. I agree with you. Like, we also don't know what is going on. So sure.
Fine, Gail. Fine.
But thank you for this.
Yeah, but thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. Actually, comments like this, this is long form. This is why I do love short form of like TikTok, because I would say all of this in 2.5 minutes, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like in my pajamas. It'd be fine.
Liz and I can be straight to the point. It just has to be a TikTok. It's not gonna
Yeah,
be
and I don't know. You have a right to your opinion and we have a right to ours. So nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for the $5. Have we looked at these, or did you unstarred all the other ones, right? From before?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, tell me.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. No, we've already done this one then, because I see
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Biatch one. Nope, we saw
did
that
not
one.
see-
Okay, Lara FM said the guy did swing at her camera. This is from before, which hit her face and she caught it. And then he started jabbing with his cap on my forehead and pushing his body on me. I hope that we file a suit, because that's ridiculous behavior. Not to mention, let's all find that guy's family. He probably doesn't have any, but if he has a daughter, that's sad for her, but it would probably embarrass him.
Yeah.
Okay. Marilyn, please like and subscribe. She's always such a good reminder. Yeah. For anybody who got through this hour and 36 minutes, Cassie Marie has, at the beginning of this, there was like a little slideshow, and you can find all of her information. And I always say I'll put it in the description, but it usually takes me a couple of days. So yeah. Just Google her. That's what I did to find all of your links. Yeah. And it's funny because I think we're both working on cross platforms, right? Where like Cassie Marie, I think you have 1,000 maybe on YouTube working on that. She's almost got 10,000 followers on TikTok, guys. I'm not 10,000. I'm sorry, 100,000. I
was like, I almost have 100,000.
It's like, what the fuck, Liz? Yeah, no, she's
so
almost
excited.
got 100,000 followers on TikTok. So yeah.
I have a podcast too, if you want to just listen and not watch.
Love
No
that.
Culty vibes. All podcast platforms.
Love that. Okay, I'm just trying to catching up at 2 speed. The clips are fast. Sorry.
Yeah. You were watching those clips at 4 times speed.
Yeah. They're like, why does Jamie Mustard sound like a chipmunk? He has a normal male voice. The Ethical Tailor, hi. I know that you're responding to somebody else. I'm assuming this is about the Aftermath show. It is no longer on the United States Netflix. I do think you have to purchase it to watch it, unless you go to that Russian YouTube. You didn't hear it from me. Amazon, you can usually do like episode by episode, Amazon Prime, or even Google YouTube. Yeah. Whose signature is this? Yeah, good point. This is let me make my screen bigger so I can read it. Ford Green Esquire. Now, this is also, to me, questionable. Now, listen, I don't know him. I am not talking crap. I just happen to know that he is he has a long time history fighting Scientology. He was part of the, I'm going to say this name wrong, Wolsheimer, I want to say, case, which if you do research on Scientology, you will find many documents that were part of evidence as that case that came out first. And that was way back in the day. So it's interesting to me, because if he was fighting Scientology back before Mike Rinder came out, were they against each other? Because I know John Sweeney and Mike Rinder were against each other, and then they had sort of a coming to moment. Is it ethical to be? I don't know that this is the case. Speculation. Is it ethical to have like a trauma bond with your lawyer? Is that a good idea?
Good point.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I want to put this one up really quick. Kirsten Iverson. Liz, you have the best hair in the SP community.
Thanks.
You really do.
I'm always like, oh, I wonder if I could do like a sponsorship, just try. I'd love for this to be my full-time gig. It's not.
It will be.
And maybe I can do a hair thing.
A hair tutorial?
Yeah, or a hair product. I could be like a hair person.
Oh yeah.
You remember the old commercials for Germac? I think it was Germac bounce back beautiful hair. I don't know why, but I will always, and they're like jumping in slow motion in their hair. Anyway,
That's Liz.
That lives in my mind. That's what I'm going for.
I really liked this comment too, Susan
Thank
P.
you so much, Susan P, for the super chat.
Yeah. Instead of protesters dehumanizing cult members, isn't it the cult that's dehumanizing its own members?
I would say yes.
Yeah. I fully.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
I agree.
Do you want to do a couple?
I lost track. Will you put one on and then I'll figure out where we're at?
I think we have them in a different order.
Oh, okay.
So I'm literally just bouncing
boy.
around and trying to get this.
Oh boy.
Brave Kestrel has strong opinions.
Well, you are brave. I love this.
Yes.
Rinder is an arrogant AF control freak who has only gotten as far as he has because of his friendship with Leah. # free the kids.
I don't know. Like I'm still learning like a lot of this stuff, and that's hard for me, but I guess we'll find out more as things progress.
We will find out more. There's a part of my heart that doesn't want to believe this. There's a part of my heart that is like, maybe there's just a misunderstanding. Maybe he's going to come out tonight and be like, oh, you guys, I fucked up. Like I fell into that pattern again. Like I got scared. I've done some bad stuff. I've got chocolate on my face. Like, what do I do?
Probably won't though.
Anyway, we'll see. Sorry, I just went off there. I love this. Mwah! Chef's kiss to this comment. We're only as sick as our secrets.
And how perfect. That looks so like the YouTube name Grounded in Truth with that quote under it is like so profound.
It is very profound. And I believe this. It's been very hard for me to actually, as a grown adult leaving Scientology, to reconcile all the interrogation in Scientology with the fact that I do now understand that we are as sick as our secrets. What you do with this is what you do with it. But I will tell you that to navigate an ex-cult community, particularly ex-Scientology, where we all have this weird shared trauma, and now apparently stories have been commoditized, right? Like, I want to break that. I want to break that. Like, it's a different world out here. And I think we've proven, and Aaron has proven, that being above the board with how fucked up we are is so much better than pretending we're not fucked up.
That's such a good point.
Welcome to the human condition. It sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just about to put this one up because I'm like, yeah, exactly. Sushi full.
Yeah, you want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a paralegal, daughter of a lawyer. I've written tons of we have no response letters in my lifetime. You never insult the person because it will fire them up. Exactly. Like anybody who, like, I'm not a paralegal. I don't have any lawyers in the family. I don't know much about lawyers and law or anything. And I know that is a really dumb thing to do and looks really bad. And it did fire people up. Liz literally is out here being like, don't talk to my friends that way. And you're making people mad. Like, why?
I know I am. I'm just like, don't talk to my friends like that.
Yeah. Literally, I can't even understand why anyone would do what that lawyer did. I just really can't.
Well, and maybe it's Retired Red. Love you. Retired Red is such a support to me and my channel. Thank you so much. If you're still here, thank you for being here. Always love you. Now that I said that, I forgot what I was going to say, which, sounds like Mike. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Nobody knows who wrote the letter. Nobody knows who approved it necessarily. We're just sort of speculating, but it is a communication, a written communication that on behalf of the Aftermath Foundation that they've asked to share. They told people to share this letter in its entirety.
It literally says that in the letter. The more that we talk about this, the more confused I get. Truly.
I mean, I'm going to make my screen a little bigger so I can see it. But yeah, let's see the letter. This letter responds to, where does it say that? I'm not going to get closer to the screen.
Yeah.
I know. Somewhere in there it says it. It's too small. Sorry. We respectfully request that you include this letter in its entirety on any YouTube discussions you conduct regarding Miriam Francis allegations as part of your Down the Rabbit Hole news platform.
I I wonder if they realized when they wrote that it would be shared in everyone's YouTube videos every time.
If they didn't, that's poor foresight.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lack of media literacy. Like it really is. I don't have any other explanation.
I would argue that this borders on media literacy onto like human literacy to like victim. Like there's a whole scope here of like, who are you offending? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Regina George.
It's weird.
It's so freaking weird.
I like this super chat as well. Here are the answers. This is the issue. Can we talk? We can't comment for legal reasons. No comment. All acceptable choices. Some of those are better choices. Some are worse. They chose this. Why?
Why? I know. Why? So unprofessional. And
I just really liked the list of other options.
I love it. And the most amusing part of this to me, thank you so much for the super chat, is that you actually paid us. You paid me to get that. Like, it's better than free information. It's like,
they should have paid you for that because great thoughts, none of which were used.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. Where are we?
I'm towards the bottom. I'm like just looking at super chats at this point because there are a lot of those too. There's this one. Drive-in fan. Leah Remini had better distance herself from that backstabbing as fuck board before her character is questioned. Those people are culty. Well, and there's still so much we don't know, but Leah, Liz and I were talking about this before. Leah just posted like a praise Mike post on Instagram, like yesterday or the day before. Like it was very, very recently. She just posted a I love my friend Mike post. I don't think Leah's distancing herself from Mike. I think Leah and Mike are ride or die to the very end.
Mm-hmm. Well, and she might actually have a publicist team. Like she probably has actual professional individuals that engage in the regular real world. And so at least her support, like that is one way to show your support. You know, you post a picture, something positive, and then they're like, at least she didn't call anybody a dog.
Yeah.
Or a flea at this point. I don't know shit about shit, guys.
Yeah.
But Leah is in a very interesting situation.
Yeah.
And I don't envy the situation because it's so hard. You know, I've talked about I've akin like fighting cults and Scientology sort of to being soldiers. And if you look at it in that capacity, no, I'm not trying to belittle or demean any actual armed forces. This is just an analogy. Please don't come for me. But if you do look at what Leah and Mike did, they were sort of soldiers on a battlefield, you know, and they were followed and they were harassed, and I'm sure they've gone through some real crap together.
Yeah.
Which again is like what circles we keep, and the people I love are the people I'm really going to be honest with. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I hope that they have a level of honesty so that when she does make a decision and he does make a decision about how they move forward, it is based on like real accurate truth.
I agree.
So it's going to be a real bad look for Leah.
Yeah, but she is much more well equipped to handle it, I feel like, than at least it appears the Aftermath Foundation is. They seem quite ill-equipped, if you ask me.
Yeah.
William Peterson says, I'm fine being an outsider keyboard warrior with fleas because I'm not a toxic, egotistical former OSA that still behaves like the cult you left.
I mean, yeah, William, this is the general court of public opinion.
Yeah.
And this is a sentiment that I have felt and seen echoed quite a bit.
And I'm not like really a huge eye for an eye person, but name calling begets name calling, especially in the YouTube world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it.
I know it's such a bad look. You just can't call victims anyway, whatever. I pulled this
Yeah.
one up because I do want to clarify something quickly. Okay. I rewatched your episode on Scientology, The Aftermath, Liz. I felt like Leo was so engaged with your story and your pain, and Mike Rinder looked as if he wanted to be anywhere but there. Sad. I actually want to be very clear that I have not had personal issues with Mike Rinder. He actually had supported me from early on before I even went on that show. He published some stuff on his blog that I had written. He maintained my anonymity. And so the sadness in this and the sadness that you mentioned earlier, Cassie Marie, is very real. I know that I can be up here and be like, do this and do that and don't talk to my friends this way. But if the goal is to end Scientology, then this is not accomplishing the goal. In fighting or treating others like this, it actually, the only way that this can help now is to become a highlight of a cautionary tale. If things keep going, like if more letters like this come out and there's more of these name calling, it does become a cautionary tale as to like, wow, you could possibly leave Scientology. You could even get on a board, and will Scientology ever get out of you? Will it ever leave us? I don't know. I mean, I can say, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I know I'm in therapy and I still have things often that come up. You're talking about developmental wounds that happen early in childhood. And I forget what age Mike Rinder said he got in, but it was, in his formative years early. Yeah. And so it would be so sad for me to see this window of people wanting Mike in particular, or Chris, or just sort of anybody who fits that bill in this conversation. We want them to understand and to see where we're coming from, and to like give it a chance, to give it a shot, to see how something they don't understand could benefit. See, to take a chance on us, on the TikTok crew, on these young kids that might mess up, but they're trying really hard and they're doing the work. Same thing with Miriam. Like, fine, her 16 questions weren't worded the way you wanted to. Does that change what happened to her and what she deserves? Right. And I hate the word deserve, but I think we can all agree she and Rabbit and Aaron, or whoever the fuck they're talking about, none of them are dogs and fleas.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be put on that low derogatory level for trying to get justice for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so it is, to me, a big crossroads where I do want to drag them out of the cave. Not that I'm like some hero or whatever. It's just I'm seeing a different perspective. And I'm like, guys, you're fucking up.
Right.
You're fucking up. And we all see it. You got chocolate all over your face. Mm-hmm. It's time to change your approach. It's time to figure this out. Otherwise, you're going to be the cautionary tale. Look at Marty Rathbun. Do you know who that guy is?
Yes.
He rose. He was at the top, at the very tippy top of anti-Scientology activism. His blog, his lawsuit, and his wife's lawsuit were going to take them down. And granted, I'm not trying to say that Mike is behaving like Marty, but we can see a world where that hero-ness is gone. Mm-hmm. And now Marty has become a cautionary tale, because his character, his true sense of self and character shined through in the end, and nobody liked what they saw. Mm-hmm. And I think I would like to see the hero in Mike that I thought I had. Yeah. I would like to see the champion for victims that I believed Mike Rinder was. That's the man I thought that my family friend Christy married. That's the man that I told my story to on national television, that I put my voice in their hands, saying that we will protect your story. And he did. Mm-hmm. And so to see it come this far is so sad to me. But if you make me pick a side, I'm going to pick Miriam. If you make me choose, I'm going to pick Aaron. You know why? Because they're honest. Do you think Miriam wants to be out here telling us she was SA'd by her father? Do you think that anybody wants to keep talking about that shit that happened to them? No. but she's not going to stop until she gets justice. And that's going to mean justice for the next little girl or the next little boy that has to fight this same battle. She needs warriors. She needs stand-up people who, when they get chocolate on their face, they admit it and they try to make it better. So I would say, don't make me pick, because that's what it feels like right now. It makes me feel like I have to let go of heroes of my past, people who helped me. That's fucked up. Thank you for listening.
That was incredible. I think of all the things we've said in the last like 2 hours, I hope Mike Rinder watches what you just said. I think what you just said is really, really important. And if he sees anything, if Claire and Mark see anything, if they watch this and watch what people have to say, I hope they watch that. Because that is, I think that is really, really incredible and really important.
Thanks. It only took me an hour and 55 minutes to figure out what I wanted to say. I guess Gail was right. I guess you were right, Gail. Could have got to the point a lot sooner, couldn't I?
To the point.
No, but honestly, what you guys are seeing when Cassie and I, Marie and I do these lives is literally we're just figuring stuff out on the fly.
Oh yeah, we're processing.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't really know what we're talking about. We're processing in real time with you guys. Exactly. Marilyn said their crisis manager should be fired, and they should, because no one's managing any crises. I'm trying to just get through your super chats because there are so many more. How do you think you say this? Telperion?
Telperion? I don't know. That's probably good.
The dogs and fleas, I think, is what they're referring to. It means don't associate with the wrong people or you might get the cooties. But who are the wrong people? Who are the wrong people here? Rabbit, the victim, Aaron. Exactly.
The thing is, nobody was a wrong person, right? Nobody was wrong until somebody was like fleas and dogs.
Yeah.
There was no like, oh, you're so bad, you're wrong. It's like, hey, can you help me out with this? Is what I thought was happening. Yeah. Someone's really mad in here, and that's totally fine.
I'm not even watching because I'm looking at the super chats and the starred comments.
I'm glad that you are, because someone was like, hey, you didn't even get the context of the letter. And I'm like, wait, that's fine.
I think
1,000 people are here. I'm assuming 500 of you are really pissed off at me. So that works.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Are they just basically saying we don't know what the questions were and what they're talking about? And if so, yeah, that's the whole point. Like, we don't know, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what the questions are. I really doubt Rabbit would have posted that. She said she's going to share the questions and she's going to talk to Miriam, and we are waiting for that and looking out for that. I highly doubt she would have posted that letter if her questions are dumb and aggressive and like warranted a response like that. And if they were dumb and aggressive or rude or whatever and warranted that response, that is still the worst response you could give, period. So you guys can get mad at me for that, whatever.
No, I agree. I agree. It just wasn't well done.
Yeah. Joannigans says, I sent AF this, the Aftermath Foundation, I'm assuming. I bought cards and a shirt that I will not use now that I've seen Miriam and Rabbit treated by the very insulting, unprofessional Ford Green letter. He that lieth down with dogs shall rise up with fleas. Yeah.
That's another reason this is so stinking sad.
Yeah.
Because this is a representation of a foundation that's supposed to be helping, like literally helping Miriam. Literally helping Miriam. It's certainly the loss of trust in the brand of Mike Rinder has rippling effects that ripple effects that affect Leah, affect the Aftermath Foundation, affect YouTube. Yeah.
Yep. JM Ledger says, thanks for saying the quiet part out loud. All I could think was, excuse me, Claire. Excuse me, Mike. Your Scientology is showing. Yeah. Like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. And it seemed like, honestly, and come for me if you have to, but it seems like that lawyer's Scientology was showing too. Now, I'm not saying that he's a Scientologist, but I know he interacts with Scientology and has fought Scientology. It's like, we're not the enemy out here. Rabbit is not your enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It all just, hey, and you know what? Maybe we will learn all kinds of stuff will come out, and me and Liz will come back and be like, oh, yeah, sorry, here's what we think now. That might happen. But you know what
I'm
Liz and I
open to
will
that.
do? We'll take accountability for
No, I
what we
will.
did.
Exactly. I'll be like, somebody hand me a wash rag. I accidentally got chocolate all over my face. You see it?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Nobody is perfect.
No.
And nobody is ever going to never do anything wrong on social media, on YouTube, whatever. It's about taking accountability and listening to the people you have hurt or harmed when you do something wrong. And Up Mayo says, subscribe now. Liz deserves it. She
Oh, thanks.
absolutely
As does Miss Cassie Marie here. Don't forget about her. I would never, I shouldn't say I would never, but speaking with Cassie Marie, speaking with you is so helpful to me because there's something about the fact that we don't share the same triggering trauma. Like I know that I can talk about things with you and you can talk about things with me and they're not like we have so much common ground, but I don't know how to explain it. I feel safe I feel safe talking to you.
I feel safe talking to you too. I love our lives that we do together.
Yeah.
Roxanne Wynn says, not sure if you've seen, but Ford Green claims to have grown up in the Mooney cult. Interesting. Same as Stephen Hassan. It's weird he didn't include his name on the document.
We have to take the comment away. I see his name on the document. If we take the comment away, it's under the signature. It's really small on the bottom, but it says
Yeah,
Ford Green
he does.
Esquire.
Yeah.
And it also has the law office, or whatever that says up there, law offices of Ford Green. I mean, his name's all over it. I can only assume this is his letterhead as well.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going through the mind of an individual when they're putting out a communication like this to a public freaking I mean, Rabbit has like over 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
So you sent this letter to 50,000 people. You knew that Aaron was going to talk about this. Like, how could you not? How could anybody not? You're calling our friends dogs and fleas.
So weird.
Anyway.
This is an interesting question. Won't let me super chat. I see you.
Okay.
I see it did.
Thank you.
Glad it did. Question. The letter is so off the wall. Could it be from OSA? Thinking about their long-term goals, destroy the critics.
Okay.
I maybe, but if it was, I would have to assume that Mike and Mark and Claire and the Aftermath Foundation would be like, whoa, we did not write this. We do not condone this. Like, if that was the case, I'm 100% sure that somebody would be out here being like, guys, we did not do this. No, nobody's denying it.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I've come to understand about OSA is that just like Scientology is so hard to get out of your system and your thought process, like the OSA way of doing things is the same way. Okay, so like I was never a part of OSA, but my mom, my stepdad, my stepsister, like they're all OSA volunteers. They actively support OSA by doing weird, shady crap. Hey, Desi, know you're watching. Anyway, so I totally got off track because I was being such a bitch to my stepsister right then.
OSA?
Yeah. It's like Scientology. It becomes a part of your core. Okay. So if you know how someone can become like you're physically abused by a parent, and then if you don't do the work, you can become an abuser of your child, right? Like if these are the tools that you have. Now, OSA provides a lot of tools, and it's all in the guise of how to handle your enemies, handle people you perceive against you. So if someone, say, was triggered and they reverted to their Scientology OSA self, something that they came up with might sound like OSA, right? Yeah. Like if those are the tools in your toolbox to attack and never defend, then you might come out with a letter too that sounds like, wow, why are you acting like OSA? It doesn't have to be OSA. OSA already did their work. They already trained their people. So it's actually almost, one could say, that might be the default type of behavior out of a traumatic situation from someone who is trained in OSA, right? Like people are like, oh, do you think it's Osa? And I hesitate to say this, but I mean, I would be a great supervillain. A great one. She froze with her eye. You froze with your eyes shut for a second, like you were really bored.
Oh no. I'm like,
You're fine.
yes.
I guess my whole point is just like, it doesn't have to be OSA. It can be OSA tactics that were somehow
Yeah.
triggered in a traumatic situation. And those are the tools in your in the tool belts.
That is a really good point.
So anyway.
I want to address this one too.
Yes.
Jake Lloyd, can you please stop giving Aaron a pass with how he treats women if you are going to attack Mike? Physically abusing a fan, getting kicked out of bars for harassment, etc. Number one, we are not attacking Mike. If you are taking this as an attack, I need you to rewatch the whole thing, reevaluate, listen to the positive things that we've said about Mike. This is not an attack on Mike Rinder. This is we are asking questions. We are calling him in. We are calling him forward. We are pointing out red flags. We are asking questions. And mostly because a survivor's story is involved, a survivor who is trying to get justice. And we will learn more about it. I'm sure we will all have more context. We're not attacking Mike Rinder. I don't want to be sitting here calling Mike Rinder a shitty person or saying he's bad. We are saying, can we have clarity? Can we have accountability? Can you please help us understand what is going on? Because it looks really bad. That is what we are doing. As far as Aaron, I'll speak before you because I'm sure you will have to say about this. That sounded really harsh. I will not speak before you.
You are fine. We are good. We are good. You can talk to me like that in our lives. We're fine.
That sounded crazy. And
no,
I'm
you're
sorry.
fine.
And you can literally step on me.
No worries. No worries. I feel you. Go. Tell me what you want to say.
Okay. I don't give Aaron a pass. I've been critical of Aaron before. Some of the things that he has said has been like very weird and concerning to me. I'm not going to address these two specific things because Aaron has addressed them. My thing with Aaron is I have seen him take accountability. I've seen him apologize for things. I've seen him say this was really stupid. I've seen him answer questions. I've seen him give explanations. And sure, he could be lying about a lot of that stuff. He absolutely could be. But you know what? The truth will come out eventually if he is. If this is all an Aaron Smith-Levin fabrication and all a lie, you cannot keep that hidden for very long. Things will come out and things are brought to light and things happen. So Liz and I don't have to protect Aaron and stick up for him. And like, we could never. And we are critical of him. And I have seen, I don't know Aaron. Like, I literally don't know him, have never talked to the guy, have never met the guy, have never collaborated with the guy. I have watched his videos for some time because I followed all the Scientology things for really long. And the growth and the change and the accountability and the things that I've seen from him, things that were a concern for me that I've like seen his personal growth on because he talks about all of it publicly. There's something to be said for that. And he's not a perfect person. And I don't need people to be perfect. And I don't need to defend him because he does really crazy things sometimes that are like, oh, he's a controversial person. Period. But we're not sitting here giving anyone passes and we are not attacking Mike Rinder. But thanks for the concern.
Yeah, no, I mean, I concur. And I mean, I guess I have to admit that if I was Mike Rinder and I watched us today, I would probably feel attacked. I think we both tried to sort of put it in a painting of wanting it to be for the better of the group. I have to shut my door. A rooster's about to come inside. No, thank you.
Aw, let the rooster be on the live stream.
There's 3 of them. They're like a little gang. They'll poop on my floor. Anyway. So I get it. Fine. Think what you will. That's fine. Sometimes I don't want to let people I care about just fuck up without being like, hey man, this could go better. And in that same way, I would say with Aaron, I do consider Aaron a friend, and I have seen his interactions with the world. You know, I think our first interview was over 5 years ago. And just like you said, nobody's perfect. We do not expect people to be perfect. But the thing that Aaron has done that Mike Rinder has not done is he has apologized and been open to the idea that he might need to evolve or that he might have made mistakes. And so I think that's what we're aiming for here. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Cassie Marie, but I'm not even giving up all my hope yet that this could be turned around. But if I say nothing and I do nothing, then I can never look back and say that I use my voice, that I exercise my First Amendment free speech right in a situation that mattered to me. Now, I give 0 people a pass. I'm not the freaking judge and jury on people. So it's really not up to me to give Aaron anything. He's a big boy. So is Mike. I can comment on what I personally perceive. And just like you said, I have seen growth and evolution. I continue to see growth and evolution. And the minute that Aaron stands up there and says, don't freaking ask me any more questions, you lay with dogs and fleas, then I would make this video and be like, Aaron, wipe your face. You look like an idiot. And he'd probably be like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So
but if he wasn't, we would give this exact same criticism.
Yes. And I'm so glad that you said this. This is part of the conversation. And I'm so glad that you said that.
Like I don't think, I'm glad that you brought that up too. I think that's a perfectly valid thing to question and ask and bring up. Totally fair. Tyler Adams.
Tyler's an ex who has an amazing story. I mean, amazing, like powerful.
Amazing, like tragic.
Yeah. Sounded really messed up what I just said about your story, Tyler. I have so much respect for you.
It didn't sound messed up at all. I know.
Okay.
Tyler says Leah Remini is not off the fucking hook as far as I'm concerned. Truth and reconciliation means you say why you did, and Mike, Claire, and Mark haven't done that.
Leah Remini is going to have her own stop, buddy. Her own battle or whatever, her own stuff from this. I don't feel like I need to pile on to make that any harder for her, because I do feel like I said she's gonna have but I will say this, Miss Leah Remini, please treat our community with respect and kindness. And if you are going to speak with anybody in this community about your feelings and thoughts, please come with respect and kindness.
That's it.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. Liz, you are a brilliant, beautiful, badass. New supporter via Aaron. I was incredibly impressed by your grace, compassion, and strength while in LA. From Tess Mack.
I appreciate that so much, Tess Mack. I'm going to be going back, so hopefully it won't be so eventful, though. Hopefully you'll all be so bored. That's my hope.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
William Peterson.
Super chats. Thank you, you guys. I'm not even seeing these. Thank you.
That's why I'm like trying to go through them, because I'm like, girl, we got a lot of supers. Captain Mikey of the new fake space Navy.
Okay, let's hold off. Let's give him a minute before the dolls come out. Let's give him a quick minute to wash his face. Girl, wash your face. That's actually a book I read.
Don't get me started. That's a trigger word. Girl, wash your face.
Okay, that's a story for another day.
Yes. Lisa Marchbanks, Dragonfish Handmade Goods, says, I hope the new nonprofit brings on therapists to help those who need it. That's a missing component. Has Mike even had any therapy? I don't know. I have heard him say on podcasts or on an episode that he hasn't. I don't know if that has changed. I don't know anything about Mike Rinder in his life. I don't know why I'm even answering this question. I have heard him say that he hasn't, but I've also heard that sometimes leaving a cult, it can be hard to go to therapy because your mind, like I said earlier, it's all about like fixing yourself while you're in a cult and like monitoring your thoughts in your mind. So sometimes therapy can feel triggering, but it also can be really helpful when you find the right therapist. I'm not knocking therapy or saying people shouldn't go. But it's complicated. It's just really complicated.
No, I agree. I agree. And as far as like a new nonprofit, I would really hope that there could be some sort of like on-call crisis therapists who were knowledgeable and trained in Scientology in particular and coercive groups and trauma, so that when you are in that throe of needing help, you don't have to talk. You don't have to talk to Mike Rinder, for example.
Right.
You can
Right.
actually talk, and that sounded rude. I'm not saying, like, he's talked to people and he's helped people, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But it would just be really nice to be able to connect with somebody, like you're saying, a therapist.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Absolutely.
just threw Mike shade somehow without even meaning to. That's not what I meant to do. And I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck if he's gone to therapy. That's his
Yeah.
mind and his
Yeah.
business.
That doesn't
He doesn't
really.
have to do anything.
Right.
But this is what we're talking about. What
Yeah.
is this representing? What mindset is this coming from? Because he can be and act, he can be whoever he wants. That's fine. But
Yeah.
when you are going to represent victims on two non-profit boards, I would very much hope, like you're saying, that an individual would want to seek to better themselves with whatever tools they could.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I agree.
More
Liz
super
Fair.
chats. Oh my God. Thank you. Wow.
Liz says, we're not in a cult anymore. Stop treating us like we are. Liz, I have your 6.
Liz is
That's
squared. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was
And
really
I feel
fun.
this is the sense of community that can be fostered. And Liz has made mistakes. I've made mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. We've all gotten the chocolate on our face. I don't know why I'm going to keep using that analogy. I just like it. I think of a little kid who's like, what?
It's a really good analogy.
Because it's so innocent, right? Like, it's not,
Yeah.
the kid's not bad. You're not
Yeah.
bad because you ate the chocolate. It's just,
No.
what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yes. Kelly Copter coming in hot with this one. If they are doing so great, then they can stand up to some questioning. Quote from Leah Remini regarding Scientology. I think it goes both ways.
Oh.
Yeah.
Another chef's kiss comment there. I really respect Kelly. Kelly, I've never told you this, but every time I try and tag you or write your name, I always write with my big fat thumb, Kelly Cooter. You probably should have told her that private. Anyway,
this is a wild.
I don't know why I said that to you right now, Kelly, in front of 1,600 people, actually, but that's what just happened. And I love you and respect you. And I always will have this little mental nickname for you. That's all.
Yeah. And Kelly, you and I have still not really connected and chatted, but I also really respect you and I love your videos and the things that you do.
Right. And to address your comment, I think that's brilliant. I think that's true. And I think this is why I had wanted to, I didn't have the clip of Chris Shelton. I know, Chris, here we go again. But the most recent clip I had that I wanted to show was somebody asking me about the TikTok crew. And he's like, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Like, that's not conducive to the demographic that are your viewers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's another thing to consider. Who are the people who give a shit? Who are the people donating to the Aftermath? Who are the people buying the Mike Rinder book? They're a compassionate, smart group of folks who are already educated enough to know that they want to pick up that book or want to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give them some credit.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks, Kelly.
Do you want to read this one?
Laura, stop it. Every time Laura sends me a super chat, I'm just putting it in a little coin purse. The next time I see her, we're going out for drink. We're going out for a freaking lobster. What is this? To Jake Lloyd, if you're
that was the person that we were asking, or that was asking, if you're going to attack Mike, why do you give Aaron a pass?
Oh, I see. Oh, good. We have infighting in the chat. This is when things are really good. Everybody can continue to pay for super chats to fight in this chat. I'll stay here all day. This sounds great. Yeah. To Jake Lloyd, if you're following Laura on YouTube, you better unsubscribe from her. Your super chat is as lame as an Osa troll. A pass? Abusing women? Fan? I hope I did that justice, Laura.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that was between you two, but yeah. I mean, whatever.
Crazy.
Not to your thing, but just whatever to that guy.
Yeah. Telparian. I really hate that I have to read people's usernames. I feel like I get them all wrong and sound so dumb.
I don't think they can.
But I'm trying my best.
Great. I think you're doing great. That's how I would say it. Telparion or Telparion. Yeah.
Be as honest as you can, self-reflect, allow critical questioning, hold yourself accountable. Apologize if you've made a mistake. You can do a lot of things I disagree with if you live up to this standard. I like that.
Let's go back to early childhood, right? Early childhood education. If a child makes a mistake, this is what you teach them. You're not like, oh, you're such a piece of shit. Like that's abuse. Oh, if if you lay down with the fleas or the dog, you're gonna get. I guess that's a good advice if you have a dog covered in fleas, but like a literal dog. But you know,
I mean, from a literal perspective, I guess.
Actually, I don't even think humans can get fleas. I think we can get lice, but they're a different species. So actually, you can't. Okay.
Really good.
All right. The semantics of it, I won't get into.
We're getting real into the weeds here.
Yeah. Real into the weeds here. My next freaking YouTube is going to be all about fleas, which are really resilient and hard to kill.
They are.
Anyway,
that's all.
These are things I would teach a child. These are things I teach, and these are lessons that we missed in Scientology. Mm-hmm. So, thank you. Thank you for that comment. Yep. Was that it? We did it?
I was going to say, yeah, that's all the super chats. Ooh. Shall we wrap it up? We've been doing this for literally 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I think we should wrap it up. I'm shocked and surprised that 1,600 people stuck through.
Me too.
Our shenanigans and ramblings and yellings. I am going to do my very, very best to get you and I, Cassie Marie. I know my dog's like, it's time to be done. To get Cassie Marie on a live as soon as we possibly can after we find out what Miriam's going to say.
Yeah.
So just for the record, I hope that nothing that we talked about today disrupts Miriam's story. Our intention here was to support her and to draw light to like, hey, what the fuck is going on? And I think we're all going to find out together soon enough.
Yep.
So let's all, in the wise words of this Gail Watkins, let's all open our eyes to what we're saying.
Yes. And please, everyone's reminding us in the chat, please like and subscribe and find us all the places. And we really appreciate you. And
look what I got. This is from before. Yeah. Yep. There's Cassie Marie's channel at No Culty Vibes. Here's mine, Liz Gail. Don't forget to buy my book.
Yes, buy Liz's book.
Got to do a shameless book plug. Okay. I'm going to get us out of here or we'll never leave.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to everybody who was here. We're sassy today. We'll be sassy when you see us next. Ooh, that should be my tag.